What's going on, Bulls Nation? We've got a live CHGO Bulls pod coming up for y'all right around the corner. Today, we roll along with our 24-25 Bulls individual player evaluations. We are talking Josh Giddey grades today, plus last night's NBA playoff action. Next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's my guy, Big Day. Bow! BAWL Sports. Bow. That's my guy, Willie Go Gottlieb. Perfectly coiffed. Some just call him the Gottlieb. Will_Gottlieb. And the queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. What is up, K-Tay?
What the helly is up, you guys?
What the helly, Burton?
What the helly,
I have a request.
What?
Okay, what do you want?
Right. Can people please hit the like today? Because I really want to take a
Goat
thought spin.
needs a tank spin, y'all.
I really do.
We did not reach the required
50.
amount of likes on yesterday's show for a tank spin.
We haven't had one in like a week.
This man is fiending.
Hey, yeah, bro.
Jonesing.
Little
Goes over here like, y'all
Give me
got
a-
any of them tank spins?
Give me a tank spin. Please.
I mean, we're getting close. We are now less
We only
than
have
2
like
weeks
2
away.
weeks of opportunity.
Less than 2 weeks until the NBA draft
What are we
lottery, y'all.
doing?
What are we doing?
Help this man out.
If not
please.
now, when?
Help him
If
out.
we're not
Wow.
going to invest in our tankathon spins during this week and next week, we're just not going to do it. Because after that, the real balls are ping-ponging.
That's real. They'll be
The
ping pong.
real balls are ping-ponging.
And then what?
Then we'll
get our answer.
then
yeah,
what?
then we'll know.
Are the Bulls going to get 1.7%
but
lucky?
We won't have another opportunity to spin
8%
after
lucky?
that.
Well, true. You won't have another opportunity after that.
If you really think about it, we have 9 chances left to spin the tankathon.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah,
let's
or-
do it at least 9 times.
However
Theoretically,
many,
yes.
like half a seconds exist between now and May 12th, because you could just be at home with the tankathon.com window
Sure.
tab open
But
and just
the
clicking it twice a second.
The official spins happen on our show.
Correct. Official spins.
The
Katie's
official
something wrong with her.
fake spins. The official fake simulations happen on our show once per day
Oh,
at
man.
most. So I'm just saying. If
Computer
not
wheel
now,
sounds
when?
broken.
Get this man a tank spin, a.k.a. hit that like button.
Please.
Oh, man. help this
Quick
man
reminder
out.
before we dive into some
I have a
playoff talk
request.
that our next super awesome fun time CHGO event is happening up across the border with CHGO Cubs. The Chicago Cubs are headed to Milwaukee, and you could be too. Kick off your summer right with the CHGO Cubs crew. Cody, Luke, and Corey taking the party north for a border battle with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's all going down this coming Saturday, May 3rd. This Saturday is May, y'all.
Saturday is May.
Shout out Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
At Potawatomi Casino and Hotel in Milwaukee. Here's what's included if you get yourself a ticket. An exclusive pregame party in a private room at the casino, a live CHGO Cubs show, hanging out with the Cubs crew, talking baseball, enjoying the positive vibes, a buffet lunch, plus a drink ticket to get the good times rolling. And if you are over the age of 21, you'll get $100 in free casino play with a Potawatomi rewards card. So grab a ticket, grab a game ticket, and sit with the crew in the lower outfield, Cubs side, of course. Make a whole weekend of it and add a one-night hotel stay at Potawatomi Saturday night. Tickets and more info available at allchgo.com/events. allchgo.com/events/event. These will go fast. Don't sleep on it, y'all. Go Cubs, go. All right, gentlemen. So before we dive into our Josh Giddey grades, somebody in the comments is talking about Josh Giddey's All-Star odds next year. 100%, 99.99%, question mark? Jebediah, the chances of Giddy an All-Star very low. Not good enough score to warrant being an All-Star. We'll get to that talk. Before that, though, NBA playoff action rolled on last night. Just 2 games, but tonight we are treated with 4. First one kicking off 5 p.m. Central Time, and then all the way to Nuggets, Clips, pivotal Game 5 at 9 p.m. Central Time. But last night, we saw the conclusion of one of the Eastern Conference first-round series as the Cavs swept the Heat. Final score of Game 4, 138-83.
Go
The
ahead, Brent.
55-point margin was the fourth largest in NBA playoff history.
Get him, Matt.
The combined 122-point differential in the Cavs sweep was the most lopsided series win, point differential-wise, in NBA playoff history.
Put that camera back on that man.
But what happened if the Bulls went to the playoffs, y'all? I could have sworn I heard that they on good authority the Bulls could give the Cavs a good fight in that series, maybe even win it. I heard this on good authority, aka Bulls Twitter. Bless your heart, y'all optimists. Shout out to our guy Strick. He was trying to convince us outside of Hooters that night after a watch party. If they go out of the play-in tournament, they go face Cleveland, they're going to win. Y'all, I'm not trying to pick on Strick specifically because he was one of many who held this belief. The team that whooped up the Bulls in that play-in tournament do-or-die game just lost that series by a combined 122 points. Ooh. So when I sat here a few weeks ago, as we were getting closer to that play-in matchup and talking about what if they go to the playoffs, and I said somewhat hyperbolically, what's the point? To go watch the Bulls lose that series by a combined 120 points? I believe I threw out the number 120 points. The Heat actually just lost that series by 122 collective points, and it probably could have been worse if it was the Bulls. But that's why you go, y'all. That's why you go.
Oh, yes. That was everything I wanted it to be. He is definitely who I thought of when I saw that score, and I turned it on at the end of the second quarter. And I said, oh, all right, I'm not going to be watching this one. Immediately put up the Grandpa Simpson meme of him walking in, seeing it and walking out. No, I wasn't watching that. But Matt was definitely the first person I thought of. I was like, oh, this is going to taste like pure steak to this man right here. He can't wait to come talk this mess today, baby. And he deserved it. Yeah, they got destroyed. And look, and I'm definitely someone who wanted to go to the playoffs. But like Matt said, I was not someone who thought the Bulls would win a single game in this playoff series at all. I thought they would get this. I thought they would get that treatment and probably worse. When I was talking to Will Perdue earlier before I got here, Flex. And he was like, hey, man, that was a 50-point win, man. What you think? I was like, it probably would have been 2 or 3 more if the Bulls were in there, dog. Like, it was going to get a beat down, you know what I'm saying, for it. So, yeah, man. And then watching Tyler Hero say, we ain't going out like that. We ain't getting swept. He went 1 of 10 in that game, and the game that he is the one talking about. So, yeah, just not a good look for the Heat. And now brings into question guys like Pat Riley. People are questioning him if he should still be there doing his job. Like, that kind of ass whooping kind of brings in these kind of questions, which is why I kind of wanted, to go to the play. I am okay with getting the ass whoop on the national stage because I know what it brings after that is more questions and more heat, and I like that kind of thing. So, yeah, they got beat down. They got destroyed. I still can't believe Strick thought the Bulls would win any of these games. Well, we're not picking on you, Strick. It's just you made yourself the face of this when you came to us immediately and told us these things.
Strick's never coming to another CHGO event again.
Oh, man, I DM'd him immediately when that play-in loss happened. He was the first person I talked to. But he has thick skin like me, so he knows it's just jokes. That's all it is, man. And he is a diehard Bulls fan who we truly, truly love. So, but yeah, we're going to mess with you sometimes. But all the Bulls Nation, it was no way they were going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm sorry.
Can I add a few things here real quick?
Please do.
So a couple of interesting quotes from the outcome of that game. Spoelstra said, damn, it was humbling. We were as irrational as we usually are, thinking we have a chance to win this series. And they showed us why we weren't ready for that. Okay? So that was Spo following the game.
Facts.
And here was Bam Adebayo after the game. There are going to be a lot of changes this summer. Knowing how the guy with the silver hair works, be prepared for that. Okay, so
this is with the silver hair,
obviously referencing
that is super villain type stuff.
Obviously referencing the Godfather, Pat Riley.
Yeah.
This is what distinguishes a team like the Heat from a team like the Bulls.
Talk to him, Will.
The Bulls are asking for patience. Mm-hmm. They are thinking that they are on the right track. They are happy with the outcome of the season and obviously wanted to make the playoffs this year and didn't, and recognize that that was coming short of a goal that they didn't verbally, state. Compared to a team like the Heat, who beat the Bulls, has beaten the Bulls 3 times, and has proven that they have much higher aspirations and that they're not settling for multiple play-in trips. And for the Heat to actually make it farther than the Bulls, lose and say this isn't good enough and say that they're going to be real changes compared to a team like the Bulls who made it as far as they did and say, just stick with the program here, guys.
I'll stay.
That is why the Heat are a team that has gone to the finals multiple times this decade, this century, and it is why the Bulls have not.
And check
Yeah,
that.
you could just expand decade to century, and that's still an accurate statement.
I just did.
Yeah, exactly. Like those teams that Jimmy Butler dragged 2 finals appearances in the span of what, 4 years? 2020 and then again in 2023?
Correct. The bubble, yeah.
It's because the Heat are a team that want an organization that wants to win championships and contend for championships. And even if you don't have one of the, premier top 10 players in the league kind of superstars anchoring what you have, you still have a bona fide stud star player in Jimmy Butler and well-built complementary pieces around him.
Yeah.
And the drive to win.
Yeah.
That's how they made 2 finals appearances in 4 years with like some meh rosters.
Yeah, their standard is the standard, and their standard is championship. It's not Eastern Conference Final. It's championship.
They
and
are
when your
playing for
standard's
championships. The Bulls are playing for 46.
Correct. And when your standard's that's why you get changes and things like that, because this isn't going to be acceptable. But when your standard is 40-plus wins, succeed, I'll stay. That's
not only I'll stay, I'm happy to be here. We're on the right track.
I am very happy to be here. Speaking of that playoff, Jimmy, he and the Warriors took a commanding 3-1 series lead over the Rockets with a 109-106 win last night. Jimmy buckets in that one, finished with 27 points. Classic playoff Jimmy, a perfect 12 of 12 from the free throw line. Also dished out 6 assists and essentially had the game-sealing defensive board.
He did.
On a Rockets possession that could have led to a tie and maybe some OT action. That's Jimmy coming up big. His teammate Draymond Green was, flowering him with praise after the game, talking about him coming up big time, the way that we have all learned that playoff Jimmy buckets has done over the many years. And now you got to wonder, what the Rockets have to punch back. Will youth maybe be on their side as this season progresses?
Yeah.
The Warriors managed to win 3 of the first 4, but now if the Rockets can push it to a game 5 and then push it to a game 6, the longer the series goes, you have to imagine that maybe youth, is on the Rockets side there.
I think the Warriors will win in 6. I think that was an emotionally and physically draining game for them. The way that the Rockets are defending Steph Curry, Steph was not good last night.
No.
On the first 2, praise Steph when he plays well, and point out how historically great he is when he has those games. But he's also subject to games like last night where he just really couldn't get it going. And you have to credit the Rockets defense. The zone, the 2 bigs, they could not figure that out. And so you get a huge game from Brandon Podziemski. Jimmy was outstanding as he typically is in the playoffs, and it was enough. Draymond also, by the way, just masterful defensive game.
Yeah.
Obviously the stop on Şengün on that final play, but he was just outrageously good for the whole game. And there were the extracurriculars, the technical, the flagrant, all of that. It was like the full Draymond experience where you get just the antics and also the greatness. And it was just a really fun game. But I do think that the Rockets, they will come back a little bit just overwhelming physically. And I think that will be hard for the Warriors to withstand after what they just went through. But I do think they'll still win the series. But yeah, the Rockets are playing them really well. I think that they're obviously struggling to score. They're having to go to a very unique format of just the 2 bigs out there, offensive rebounding being so much of what they do, guarding Steph, basically, man-to-man from half court on, just not leaving him.
Yeah.
And they're doing a really good job of it. I think it's been really draining for the Warriors. And I do think that they will overcome it, but I bet you the Rockets will win game 4 or 5, whatever it is.
I kind of feel that same way.
Yeah,
I think the Rockets win this next one, and it goes 6, and Steph puts on something really special for that game. I think saying it was the full Draymond experience is the perfect way to say it, because it was all the reasons why he gets on your nerves and all the reasons why you're oh, he's really, really awesome.
Generational.
Yeah, that's your word. He's good though. I will not take that from him. That dude really has some special in his defensive game, man. For sure. The man picked up his 5th foul with 8 minutes in the third, and didn't pick up another foul the rest of the game. He sat out, you know what I'm saying, for a while, but he played within himself. It's when the 4th quarter hit, it was money time and time to really get to it. Draymond Green did his thing out there, man. He's special. That's really what he is, man. But you get that full experience with Draymond Green, which why he gets on my nerves sometimes. But in general, when he's got it going, and with guys like Jimmy Butler by his side, he's awesome. So
tonight's action, 3 of the teams playing can close out their series with a win tonight. The Pacers, who are up 3-1 on the Bucks, who, of course, the devastating loss of Damian Lillard for the rest of the season, the rest of the series. The Knicks, with their controversial win to go up 3-1 on the Pistons, and the Celtics up 3-1 on the Magic. Real quick before you go to break, do all 3 of these teams close tonight? If not all 3, which ones do?
What were the 3 teams again?
Pacers, Knicks, Celtics. Who closes out tonight?
Pacers, yes. Knicks, no, because I'm not rooting for them.
Mm-hmm.
And Celtics, yes.
I agree.
Yeah. I would love, of those 3 series, Knicks Pistons is the one that I want to see go to an additional game at least.
Yeah, I want more of that. I want more of that Draymond
and then,
energy.
of course, the cherry on top of tonight's playoff action, tied 2-2. Pivotal Game 5. Nugs, Clips. Can't wait. Get your bets in on Bet365, that playoff action tonight. We'll knock out a couple of ads. We'll come back. We'll dive into our player evaluation for the one and only Josh Giddey.
Yeah!
Hit the like.
Bulls Nation!
A+++. Sunnyside is one of our lovely sponsors for today's show. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, y'all. A place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer, and it is close. The Berks are here. The Gams are out. 68 degrees as I was walking in today on a beautiful sunny Chicago day. Loving it. And nothing says Chicago summer like your fine products from Sunnyside. Yeah. It's your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs because they have an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from. Plus, they offer easy online ordering and in-store pickup. I am a big fan of it. When I pop in, grab a little receipt of what I ordered for online, wait in a very short line, go to the counter, here's the receipt, here's what I ordered. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm on my way. It's a great system they have at Sunnyside. Sunnyside has locations all over the state of Illinois, including the city, locations like Wrigleyville and River North, all the way to the suburbs, even reaching as far south as Champaign, all the way up to South Beloit, near that Illinois-Wisconsin border. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and a great staff to help you with all of their great selections and different brands they know you'll love, like Good News and Minis. Even if you're a pro, they've got you covered with over, again, 100 strains to choose from, including new strains added daily to their menu. Expertly curated. Check out the Wellness Advisor Staff Picks collection if you want to try something you haven't tried yet. Visit Sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases, y'all. Just use that promo code HICHGO when you check out to qualify. Again, that's promo code HICHGO at checkout. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and older and Illinois Med card holders.
For all the right reasons, y'all. It's 4 Seasons.
Woo.
I'm going to say the singing for the end. Stay tuned. 4 Seasons, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. They have been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Like Matt said, when the Berks out and the mustache is gone and the Gams are here, you know that it's summertime on the way, ladies and gentlemen. So you got to get it right. And you get it right with 4 Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Because now is the time to get your air conditioning checked out. And 4 Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. 2024, listen up, was officially Chicago's hottest year on record. The heat index reached 114.
That's too hot.
Oh, my God.
Too hot.
Too hot, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what it was last summer at O'Hare. Shout out to O'Hare. When it's hot and it's humid, you want to know when you come home, you're going to be cool and you're going to be comfortable, just like Will got you. Just because you have to sweat through the game that you're watching doesn't mean you need to sweat in your own home. 4 Seasons expert technicians ensure you always receive reliable service. And 4 Seasons doesn't charge more for service during nights, weekends, and holidays. That is awesome. So schedule your 4 Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no breakdown, no guarantee. It ain't breaking down for a year. That's 4 Seasons, y'all. Your trusted local experts are 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit 4 Seasons Heating, Cooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's 4 Seasons Heating, cooling.com. Because for all the right reasons. Peck!
Call 866 4 seasons.
Well, go. I have a question for you.
Okay.
I know when the Burks are out and the mustache is going. That's how he does summer. You know when the gowns come out. That's how everybody knows it's getting hotter. What is it for you, sir?
No upper layer.
No upper layer. Okay.
Yeah.
So just
Normally
the
I'll be
guns.
wearing-
So shirtless?
No, just like a normal, just a t-shirt.
Just the guns.
Just the t-shirt.
Okay. All right. The gun show. I got you.
Once it gets
I
really
don't-
hot, I'll start wearing shorts.
I was gonna say
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever seen Gottlieb in shorts even.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they come out in the
They come out.
summertime.
So I just missed that last year.
Oh yeah. You'll get it. Right now, you know, you got
I mean,
Tom O'Leary and Jack Dempsey over
true
here.
peak goat summer is obviously just staring out majestically at Stadium Swim from one of our cabanas.
Matt will never let this go.
I'll go. I'll
He
go.
looks so fire.
Matt will never let this go.
I'll go Burks too.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'll
When
go
the Burke
Burks,
brothers show up, I hope
Burke
that
brothers.
graphic is still in there somewhere. Joey made that
Joey made
graphic.
of the Step Brothers movie
Yes,
poster.
he did. Joey
But
definitely
it's us
made a
and
Burke
our
brothers
avatars
graphic.
with our Burks.
Oh yes,
That's a good one.
I'll see
Oh,
if I
yes.
can find it.
It's a good.
He's
Yeah.
gonna go digging for that one.
It's a good one.
We roll along CHGO Bulls on a Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button if you're hanging out with us in that YouTube chat. John Hosey in the comments saying, Peck, please grow the stash back. I'm uncomfortable with you with no stash. You'll have to wait. Sorry that it makes you uncomfortable. And maybe you're new here, but off-season Peck, stashless.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
lip is freed when the Bulls are cooked. That is how it works. Okay, so we are talking Josh Giddey grades today, gentlemen. And much like we did with yesterday's show, we kicked things off with Kobe White. Go give that episode a watch, a listen if you haven't done it yet after this one.
He was spitting.
We started with reviewing our prove-it goals that we set out for each of these individual Bulls players before the season began. And let's do the same with Josh Giddey now. Obviously, a big storyline coming into this season because they went out and acquired this guy in a trade. They wanted Giddy. They got Giddy. And the future of the franchise, like there was a lot hanging in the balance on how Giddy looked his first year with the Bulls, especially given that he was on an expiring rookie deal and was due a big payday. The prove-its, to refresh our memory, I asked Josh Giddey for the first time in his career to have a 3.0 or better assist to turnover ratio. It was a tough ask, but it is something that is done by many NBA players, whether they be superstar players, star players, quality role players, or just, you know, journeyman guards who are great at dishing assists and protecting the ball. Just for reference, Giddy had improved his assist to turnover ratio each year from his rookie year on, from 2.02 to 2.22 to 2.3 last season. This season, he fell short of a difficult goal I set of him to get to at or above 3 for the first time. He did still increase it, though, marginally from 2.3 to 2.49. So he did get better with being the great playmaking, passing Giddy that he is and minimizing the turnovers, but it's not the same amount of improvement in that area that I was looking for. Dave, however, you asked him to get 7 triple-doubles this season.
I did.
Did you count?
I believe he had 8.
7.
7.
Hit
Right
it
there.
on the money.
Splash.
And fun fact, you know, we talk about how Giddy just really came alive after the All-Star break, after the Zach LaVine trade. Of those 7 triple-doubles, 5 came on or after March 8th. So literally just like, not just post All-Star break, the last month of the season, from April 8th or from March 8th to April 13th is when he put up 5 of his 7 triple-doubles.
That's impressive, man. And I know he had, I believe in his career, he had 10 with OKC. And I just wanted to show, because getting 10 over some years is like, you know, yeah, you cool. I was like, but let's do something, you know what I'm saying, to show that you're the guy. You know, let's establish yourself, because everyone says that's what you are. Anytime you do any kind of triple-double or anything, his name would be mentioned with some of the greatest players in the history of the game. So let's continue to move that forward. That's why I wanted 7 for him. Let's see if you can get to that 7. And he damn sure did. Like you mentioned, it was looking a little there, but then he got to March and everything kind of clicked. The trade happened. Everything looked great. Half-court shots, all of that went crazy for Josh Giddey. And I mean, he put up some incredible stats during that month of March, man. Like, he was just completely on fire. So good to see him, you know, seeing that, taking the challenge and said, I'll prove it, mate. Craigie.
And your prove it for Josh was all about, I think, the crux of the Giddy trade and thinking about him as a foundational piece for the franchise moving forward is just bottom line, does he impact winning in a good way? Is your team better with him on the floor compared to when your team has him off the floor? And you said that, the mathematical or the statistical way to look at that is, can Josh Giddey have a net positive on-off differential? And why don't you tell us what the result was, Goat?
Well, the result was he was exactly 0.0. So Bulls were as good with him off the court as they were with him on.
$30 million.
Some of that is a little bit skewed because, and the website that I'm using for this, Cleaning the Glass, doesn't allow you to filter by time. But if you look at it through the plus minus of just, which is not as representative from pre and post All-Star break. Pre All-Star break minus 6.5 was his net rating, and post All-Star break plus 9.9. So I do think that over the course of the year, he got better. Yeah. The team performed better with him at the helm, and they were successful with him there. And he was a huge piece of that. So I don't want to say that he wasn't productive. I just think it was a story of two separate players.
Yeah.
First half and second half. And I think that is the challenge of how you evaluate him is which is the real Giddy. He was asked that directly at exit interviews. And he said, like, as you would expect, that obviously the second half was the real Giddy. But if you are the Bulls and you are a team that is trying to evaluate him and how much you want to pay him, I do think you have to take both sides into consideration. And yeah, end of the day, like, I don't really care about the triple doubles. Obviously, he's going to be able to put up big stats, and he did, especially in the second half. 21, 11, and 9. 21. Incredible. But did it impact winning in the second half? Yes. In the first half, no.
All facts.
I think that's a fair way to put it. Yeah. Tale of two halves or tale of 2/3 and then 1/3.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
So let's dive into our grades for Giddy, starting with what he did on the offensive end. Obviously, again, you can look at season total numbers, and you can also look at the explosion of post All-Star break numbers. But on the season, Giddy averaged 14.5 points a game on respectable 46.5, 37.8, 78.1 shooting splits. The 37.8 career high mark behind the arc by a pretty significant margin. It was a career high not only in a three-point efficiency, but a career high in three-point volume for Josh Giddey this season. And that was one of the biggest things that his skeptics/critics were worried about coming into this season, and worried about with the trade and making him a focal point. Is like, yes, the dude's got some crazy 4D chess basketball court brain going on, and sometimes it leads to some beautiful, fun basketball.
It does.
But if your opponent doesn't have to guard him around the perimeter any night, and any possession where he's not the on-ball creator, his value is just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I was talking about, wanting his assist to turnover ratio to be better, and it did get better, not the 3 mark that I wanted, but 7.2 assists per game, career high. His 32.9 assist percentage, career high. Interestingly, and again, this goes to what Goat was talking about, like, Giddy finding his role through the first half of the season and taking a backseat to Zach LaVine and others. His 21.7 usage percentage for the entire 24-25 season was a career low. But his post-All-Star break usage percentage of 24.9, if you had made that a full season usage percentage, it would have been a career high. So that kind of just tells you in that little window from low 20s to mid 20s, usage percentage wise, Giddy. And I think that's why we saw Giddy not only take a back seat, but in a lot of games through the first half of the season, Billy Donovan would sit him down the stretch of games because he wasn't fully into that game because they weren't playing through him.
Yeah, and obviously defensively as well. But Josh Giddey, I mean, you can compare it to kind of Kobe White's season, as we talked about yesterday, the tale of two halves kind of thing. Not being so awesome in that first, but being incredible in that second. I would say the difference is with Kobe, like, we kind of knew what to expect from Kobe. Like, this was his thing. Josh Giddey was finding, his sea legs out there with the Bulls. And when he found them, I mean, it was incredible to watch, man. But he definitely has a ways to go, in my opinion, before he gets just to that point where he's just that dude that we can all depend on. But the triple doubles are awesome. All that is awesome. But everything Goat said is right. It has to affect winning at the end of the day. So that is probably the next task for a guy like Josh Giddey.
Let's knock out a couple other ads real quick. When we come back, we will see what we gave Giddy for his offensive grades this season. And then we got to talk defense, too. Plus, we still got meathead grades. All that up ahead still. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. We're trying to get a tank spin for GOAT.
Please.
Hit the
Do it
like.
for GOAT.
Wow.
Wow. Empire today.
Woo woo.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Just like your favorite team needs home court advantage, your home needs home floor advantage.
Yo.
Wink.
Puns.
Yeah. And Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals whose focus is on flooring every single day. Now, we all been to those big box stores. You know, Mama Katie wants to go out and hang out on the weekend, but first she got to get to the big box store because she got some things she got to do. But then when she got there, she said, oh, snap, I got to ask some questions about flooring because I want to change some things up right now. And then she heard those footsteps coming like it was Jurassic Park. That damn Biff. Here he comes.
No.
Oh, okay, what do you need right now? Get away from me, Biff. I got questions. You like what I did? I got questions going on for you right now. Oh, but I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you do things now. You know why she turned it down? She didn't want to get biffed. Don't get biffed, ladies and gentlemen. Stay at home and get that shop at home convenience that you only get with Empire Today. They live and breathe flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. Get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are absolutely no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. So schedule that free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, that's y'all, you can receive a $350 discount when using that promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard it. $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. 588-2300. Go! Pass
Get
the
biffed today.
He said get biffed today.
I took that shot myself.
He took the shot.
Wow.
I did
I'm not
pass it to
passing
a
it.
shooter. I passed it to a shooter.
Get away from me,
biffed.
Biff.
Get biffed.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for Matt for catching that.
I don't want to talk to Biff. I want to talk to Samson.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, God. Today's show also brought to you by Lucy. Are you thinking about leveling up your nicotine routine? Then try the fine variety of products from Lucy. Lucy has all kinds of options, whether it be nicotine gum, nicotine pouches, or their specialty, my favorite, what they call Lucy Breakers, which are pouches that come with a little extra burst bubble of flavor and hydration in each pouch. You can get a wide variety as far as the amount of nicotine in each pouch and each piece of gum. So whatever your nicotine usage is, they've got the right amount for you. And then a ton of different flavors to choose from. They've got the whole like mint and wintergreen kind of family. They've got fruity flavors. They've even got an espresso flavor if you like a little coffee with your nicotine. And I am a trusted user, former smoker, and this is now my nicotine of choice whenever I feel a little craving. The best part is monthly subscription just shows up right at your door. You don't have to do anything. Eliminate all those annoying trips to the tobacco store or the gas station or your local bodega. Just sign up for a monthly subscription and it'll just boom. I got my fresh delivery from Lucy yesterday. Timed it out perfectly. This is my second to last pouch from my previous delivery.
Okay.
You can also adjust if you realize, oh, I need a little bit more per month. I need a little bit less per month. You can adjust that monthly subscription however you want to get all the details perfect for you. And the best part, Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind.
What?
You won't, though. I promise. Again, that's lucy.co with promo code CHGO2025, and you will get 20% off your order. Lucy.co, promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your order. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age. Every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. All right, we roll along. CHGO Bulls, Josh Giddey, player evaluations. So let's take a look at what we gave Giddy for our grades, starting with offense, talking about what he did, this season. And okay, we were pretty similar across the board. He got B pluses from me and Go. Big Dave with an A-.
Big
so
check.
right there in that same wheelhouse. How did y'all come to your offensive grades for Giddy?
Oh my God. Go is so funny, y'all. Like for real, like on the low, that dude is really funny.
Big check.
I came to mind because basically, like when you do what you do in that month of March, it was just absolutely incredible. But even when that first half of the season, remember when he went on that run where that dude was just shooting like 50% from three
Bonkers.
and 50% from the field? Like,
but bonkers.
He was showing, little signs and little things that he has this in him. And it just came to fruition definitely in March. But I remember that run he went on early on in the season where he was just on fire and couldn't miss. And I mean, just the way he would facilitate and get everybody else involved. And I talked about several times on the show how impressive I find it for someone who is not a shooter and doesn't have a move and doesn't have a shot, scores 20-plus points. Like, that stuff I would watch Rondo do all the time. But the fact to watch Giddy do it, and I mean, he would bull his way into the hole and score that way, or he would go and he would draw a foul, or as I mentioned, that three-point shot was just simply on fire. Like, I gave him credit for what he did offensively because it wasn't just the scoring, man. Obviously, it was the rebounding as well. His offensive rebounds were outstanding. The amount of second possessions he got and third possessions he got for the Chicago Bulls was big and led to a lot of wins down the stretch for this team. And the assists and all those numbers kind of speak for themselves, man. And his turnovers weren't as bad as I thought that they were going to be. I thought he would have seasons where he would have, or games where he would have these big, gaudy numbers as far as points, rebounds, and assists, but also have like 8 turnovers, with it.
I mean, he did have some of those.
He did it a couple of times, but not as much as I thought he would. And that's what I found completely impressive. He took complete control of his role and of the team, especially when that trade happened. And I tip my cap to him for that, man. So that's how he got that A-. Definitely wasn't an A. There was still some things I think he definitely still needs to work on. But I felt that his overall offensive game was very deserving of an A-.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it was kind of a fringe for me. I probably would have gone A- or A if he had played with more consistency throughout the whole year. But you can't deny what he was doing in that second half. I mean, you really hit on all the major pieces. I would say the one thing I would want to add is the free throw drawing. He actually made more free throws in the final 19 games of the season than he did during the first 51 games of the season.
Oh my God.
So he was aggressive going downhill, getting to the foul line, getting to the basket, finishing. He talked a lot about removing the floater from his game. And again, I've said this before, he has a self-awareness of his skill set and his limitations that is a huge asset to him because he knows the things that he needs to work on and get better at and remove from his game in order to take the next step as a player. And when you operate that way and you can see the results, okay, I know this shot is not good. I need to find ways to adjust my shot profile to do more free throw drawing. And you can see the result of that. That's a really positive process of like identifying the issue, solving it, and seeing the result. And I think that can only benefit him as he moves forward. Also, the 3-point percentage, 34.5%, which I believe would have been a career high for him for just the first 51 games, but 45.7% from 3 after the All-Star break. So I felt like B+, A- in that range felt good. Probably would have gone much higher if he had done this with more consistency. Maybe we talk more about this during the overall thing, but is it possible that he is worse than last year? Like, I know we all kind of bake in this idea that young player, he's going to get better. How could you possibly continue to play at the level of 21 points, 10.7 rebounds, 9.3 assists, 25 usage, 62 true shooting percentage for the rest of his career? I mean, if he can do that, he's an all-star. No doubt about it. Yeah. So I think the idea of he's only 22, he's going to get younger, or he's going to get better as he gets older. I think that's fair. But I also think it's possible that, I don't want to say he peaked, but like this was some of the best basketball that he plays.
Plateaued.
And even if he plays at 80% of this, You have to factor that in when you're talking about a contract. If this is the best you're going to get from him and you can get that consistently, that's a max player. If you can get 70% of this, then that's a different story. But is it going to be 40% of this on some nights and 75% on others and 110% on others? You just don't know. And I think that's the real question that I have with his consistency. You cannot knock the actual production there, but I think it's still fair to have questions about how real it is, not just in terms of did he do it or not, but can he continue to do it?
Yeah.
Fair question. Hater.
much like Kobe, you know, the same reason. And you're talking about giving him B+, A- as opposed to a solid A. I agree with Goat about doing it over a full season. Yeah. To me, the other thing, because I believe I did give Kobe an A- for his offense. I gave Giddy a B+. I was talking about it when we were talking about our prove-its. I want Giddy to be a lethal playmaking, you know, offensive engine who doesn't do dumb shit that drives me crazy. And yes, he improved his assist-to-turnover ratio a little bit, but even still, of his 202 turnovers in 70 games this season, 140 of those 202 turnovers were classified as, quote, bad pass turnovers. That means over 2/3 of Giddy's turnovers are just Giddy doing that ain't there, making passes that aren't there, forcing things that aren't there. It's something that is frustrating to watch as a fan of not only when Giddy makes beautiful passes and you're like, wow, how did he do that? Simultaneous to that, 2/3 of his turnovers are just, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
Why'd you take that shot?
Knowing
practice that
especially the way that this Bulls offense wants to play and started to play even more aggressively with Giddy leading things. Not to say it didn't play fast with Zach. They did then too, but it is a razor's edge of, can you play this style of offense successfully? You know, keep the ball moving. Everybody needs to be able to knock down shots when they're open, and you got to protect the ball. The Bulls got murdered in points off turnovers a lot this season. Yeah. And on those nights when Giddy is flinging the ball around to teammates who aren't there, you're just like, dude, why? Dude, stop. Like the post All-Star break stats are impressive, but to me, part of my grade with Giddy is still just the eye test. I trust my eyes. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that he did on the offensive end. I'm not even talking about defense yet. On the offensive end, that as a NBA fan who's watched the NBA for well over 30 years collectively, I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
One other addition I wanted to make, which I forgot to say yesterday when we were talking about Kobe, is Giddy was much better in the play-in game offensively than Kobe was. And I do think that counts for something. When we're talking about meaningful games, showing up in those moments, Giddy, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, which is a lot, and 9 of 21 shooting, 2 of 7 on threes, but got to the line for 5 of 6. Meanwhile, Kobe was 17 points, 5 assists, but had 7 turnovers and was only 5 of 20 from the field. So I do think you have to give him a little bit of credit and give Kobe a bit of a knock there, just because we've seen Kobe have a great playing game. I'm not saying he can't do it, but that was the game of the season. That was what would have allowed them to continue on. And not to say this was a great game from Giddy. I don't think it was, but he definitely was more consistent to what he had been playing like than Kobe was.
And what I like about this is both of you all are saying exactly what I've been saying about Josh Giddey this whole time is I need to see it consistently. Show it to me all the time. Like you said, Will, if that's the guy that's going to be the guy, all-star, you know what I'm saying? Like just one of the faces of the league kind of numbers that he's kind of putting up right there. That's a dude right there. Or is he this other guy that I don't know if we can play you down, you know what I'm saying, in the fourth quarter down, you know, when it's that time to actually lock in offensively and defensively. Which one is it? So, and that's why I'm mad, like you said, it was such a razor's edge, like a very thin line between him being really, really high and being just really, really low. I just want to know what that middle ground is for him because there's a good player there. I don't think we disagree on that at all. No. Like there is a good player there, right there on that middle ground. We just don't believe it's this low and we just don't believe it's this high. But it's somebody right there that could be really, 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 really good for the Chicago Bulls team. And I am very, very interested in finding out what it is.
All right, so now let's talk Giddy's defense and take a look at our grades for Giddy. Katie, if you want to throw that back up there. Okay, so Dave, I appreciate that one of us was willing to go there. I honestly just didn't want to listen to the Giddy committee if they were hanging out in the comments today. Much like I gave Kobe a C- for his defense and thought I was being kind, I gave Josh Giddey a C- for his defense and I thought I was being kind.
Yeah, you were undoubtedly being kind. I almost gave him a C-, and then I said, well, that means I would have given him the same exact grade that I actually gave to Kobe White. And do I think that he was on that level defensively with Kobe White? When I said no, Kobe, I thought Kobe had a slightly better season on defense than he did in the previous season. Like, I couldn't ethically do that and give him that same kind of grade when I watched Josh Giddey just be completely cooked. So this is kind of how I broke it down. In that first half of the season, Billy Donovan couldn't play you in the fourth quarter. And it wasn't because of the offense. It was because he knew you was about to get cooked on that defensive end. If he can't put you in the game and you're a liability that way, that's an F. Second half of the year, you definitely got better. The steals, remember he had the game where he almost had the quadruple double because he had so many steals.
Yeah.
Of course, he admitted a couple of them just kind of fell into his lap. Yes, which
try half of them.
Yeah, which Matt really appreciated. But I felt he got better with steals, he got better with blocks, and those numbers that you just look at on your stat sheet. But going within the numbers like that, and Will talked about this yesterday, sometimes your defensive rating is going to suffer because you're on a team that is really, really not good at defense. And you saw last year, he had a really solid defensive rating with OKC. But this year, it got worse because he was with the Chicago Bulls. So seeing that and knowing what he had to be on this team defensively and what they needed from him, but also just watching him get cooked on so many occasions, man. They would signal him out. They would run him through different kind of sets. Watch that Miami game, man. Oh, yeah. They were on him in that one, man, and putting him in tough situations. But I thought it was cool. So I was like, I'd give him probably a C-, for that second half. Maybe even a hard C. That gets you a D. That's how I ended up with that D for him, man. He's got a lot to work on defensively. But at some point in time, he has to find something that he's solid at on the defensive end, whether it's just steals or whether it's just blocks or whether it's knowing where everybody needs to be on the floor, calling out the defensive sets, but he's got to find his one thing on the defensive end that he can hang his hat on, because I'm not asking him to be that defensive dude night after night after night. He is not going to be that, but I am asking him to provide one thing on that defensive end that is going to be consistent and be able to help this team night after night.
And just real quick, Goat, mentioning what do you hang your hat on? That I think that is another factor of why I graciously gave him the C- because he rebounded every freaking night.
He did.
So
but for me, that was on the offense.
Right. Yeah. So
that was
give him
offensive.
that. And Dave, you mentioned his defensive rating his last season with OKC and that very good Thunder defense. Last year, he had a defensive rating of 111.5. This year with the Bulls, 114.4.
Boom.
Yeah, I think the rebounding was, he was a tremendous rebounder. Like, he's a legitimately really good rebounder, not just like the ball falling to him because he's boxing out.
Yeah.
Like, he was boxing out and he was going to get the ball and high pointing it. And then using that to get up the court and get the Bulls into their offense quickly. So I think that is actually kind of similar to like the whole Russell Westbrook triple doubles thing back when Billy Donovan was their coach. Is like, is he just stat padding? It's like, no, they kind of need him to get those rebounds because they need to get the ball up the court quickly, and that really informs who they are offensively. So definitely credit there. And yesterday I was talking about Kobe's advanced metrics, really not liking the performance that he had last year. Giddy was much better. Kobe, I think, was minus 1.4 defensive EPM. That was really bad. Giddy only minus 0.3, so almost average, 44th percentile. Could be better, could be worse. I think a lot of that is saved by the extra steals and blocks that he came up with. But still, the Bulls performed better defensively when he was off the court by 1.5 points per 100 possessions. So I do think he improved, though, and that's why I didn't grade him as critically as I graded Kobe. He probably started from a worse place, but got to roughly that same level as Kobe. But I did see the improvements. I saw the low points, and I saw him make strides. He can be a better defensive player than I think he has shown. He's got the size, he's got the length, and he's got the IQ. Like, he should be able to leverage that to be able to understand where to be able to make plays, get his hands in passing lanes, and rebound the ball. And I think that if you can just do that, that's a solid defensive player. He doesn't have to be like the worst defensive player on your team, especially when you've got a bunch of other poor defenders around you. So I think a lot of those questions will come up in a playoff series where teams are being a little bit more strategic and aggressive in targeting matchups. But I do think Giddy improved, and I wanted to give him some credit for that. But as I mentioned, with his offense in the playing game, that really came to a head defensively for him in the playing game. The Heat were just after him relentlessly time and time again. And I think that was kind of what got them off to a hot start and what ultimately was why the Bulls couldn't get back into it. They just continued to go right after Giddy. And when you've got Vucevic out there and Kevin Huerter out there and Kobe White out there, and you're the one they're going after, that is not a great look. So that is not a strength of his. He knows that. But I do think that there's a level he can get to where he's just average or slightly below, and it's not killing you because he's providing so much offensively. And there were times where that was the case this year, but certainly there were times, as you guys mentioned, where he's getting played off the floor in the fourth quarter when the Heat are going after him in the playing game, where that was just not the case, and he was hurting you more than he was helping you because of how poorly he was playing defensively.
Yeah, and for me, like I said, I've never really looked at rebounds as a defensive thing, and I'm sure there are. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's a stop. You know what I mean? When you get a rebound. But
that's never how I Dave. I don't know if you ever heard that. You just need 5 stops.
I never looked at it like that, strictly because when he's getting the ball, it's immediately an offensive possession. Like when he gets it, it's immediately, okay, I'm bringing the ball up. I'm starting this offense. This is what we're doing.
Right.
That's how I look at it when I see him. So because I know he's a great rebounder. And like I mentioned, his offensive rebounding as well as a definite weapon for him. But no, I need to see something outside of that, man. I really do. I need to see just – dude, if his steals, like if he just becomes a guy that can get, like you mentioned, Will, can get his hand in passing lanes, or becomes a guy that could be that help defender to use his size, you know, to deter shots, that's something I can hang my hat on right there for him, man.
So much of playing good defense is just being in the right spot at the right time. And more than anything, it just takes intelligence to be able to know where to be.
And he's definitely intelligent.
And he is smart enough to
he's definitely that.
All right, with that, gentlemen, let's move to our meathead grades for Josh Giddey.
Yeah.
Which should be fun. All right,
start with Will.
Will's meathead grade for Giddy is just Shaq. Is that a player comp? Is this?
Yeah, I said Giddy is the next Shaq. No, it was a little bit of a stretch just to try to make the acronym funny, but
should he act?
It's more of a statement than a question.
More of a statement
than a question.
Sign him.
Quarters
at quality.
No, it is still have a lot of questions.
A
lot of being
yes.
the
yes.
A.
Well
because
very solid.
Yeah, it's just
well
like
done.
I love what I saw from him in that second half of the year.
Sure.
But it's like, can you do that consistently? And I think more than that, and we can talk about this with the overall grades. Can he be a piece of what you're building and not the the sun around which everything else revolves? Because I think the question with him is like, we've seen him on good teams before playing with guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he's not as good as him. So you couldn't justify giving him the ball, which means if you want him on the court, he's in the corner spacing the floor. And that's not his skill set. That ruffled his confidence. And that turned him into basically a guy that wasn't able to get on the court in the playoffs. Now, the Bulls are not in that position, but does that mean that just because now he's got the ball in his hands and he's putting up big numbers, that you can actually get to that point of competing in the playoffs and competing at a high level? I still don't know. That's the question that I still have. I think more information about him in the playoffs would have been useful. But I also think not getting there is good information too, right? Like we saw what happens in meaningful games when he's out there. So I don't want to say he can't get better. I think he still can, but I do have questions about just how much better he can get, and that's why I went with Shaq.
Diesel.
Big Shaq.
Diesel. Shaqstradamus.
That's I like how that
Shaqtastic.
That worked out that way with SHAQ.
Yeah, well done.
And I 100% agree with you, guys.
Yeah,
still a lot of questions.
No lies, sir.
All right, Katie, what else do we have with meathead grades? Goat, Shaq, Dave Mepetisi. Is that an I at the end?
That is an I. That is an I.
Might even think there's no G or J in there, so his name is not included. PTSI, PTSD.
Way to put a letter in. Way to put a letter in there, man. Go.
I got nothing.
No. Katie. No.
You've
It's a
stumped
fun
us
one.
again.
It's a fun one.
Me thinks? I don't know.
Give me a little hint. I need a hint.
Bulls fans, definitely. This is something to them.
Oh, a certain faction of Bulls fans?
Yeah, of the
Giddy committee?
Yes.
This is a message to the Giddy committee?
Yeah. Something Giddy, I'm sure they want Giddy to do.
Well, it's not chill the F out, so I'm lost.
I don't know. Hit me with it. I got nothing.
I got you. Put it back, Katie, please. Make everyone tell Matt Peck to suck it.
Wow.
That's what I want, Nick.
Wow.
And I only use Matt Peck because y'all made him the face of this for some reason. But that's the only reason I'm using him in this one. I want him to have that season where he just completely goes crazy, where he balls out, where he becomes that all-star, where whatever contract he signs, he plays above it, and he has that game. So everybody out there who is a huge Josh Giddey fan can just be like, you see, I want you to have your I told you so moment. I want Giddy to give that to all of Bulls Nation because it means the Bulls will be a better team is what that would mean if Josh Giddey is playing above his skis, as Matt or Goat would say. Like, so that's what I want from Josh Giddey is just to completely ball out and be that consistent player that we saw in March, but to be that guy the entire year. And I know I don't want to hear he's 22, he's 23 no more. No, now it's on him. That's what you showed. You showed me the potential of what you can be and what you can do out there on the floor. So now you would put it on that target on your back, sir. So now do it for an entire year so people can come and be like, Matt, see, I told you. Well, you suck it, Matt. We hate you. They love him, actually. But they're mad. We're mad at you. Get a committee forever. That's what I want for y'all.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Will it happen?
Still have a lot of questions.
Still have a lot of questions.
Still have a lot of questions.
Will it happen? Shaq.
And our third and final meathead grade for Josh Giddey. GFH ...
If there was a T in there, I was like, this is going somewhere else.
Dude, I told Matt this one scared me. When I saw that F in his, I got
scared her.
scared.
And I was like, yeah.
I think it's Giddy fans something.
Giddy fans hate, but ball? Does it have something to do with you being right?
Is the G Giddy?
The G is not Giddy.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was surprised it wasn't just,
to
I
do
told
with
you
me
so.
being right
Okay.
in any capacity.
Okay.
It has more to do with my lingering apprehension towards the whole Giddy plan.
Okay. Go
Along, similarly to how Goat's feeling. Ooh, the F is 4.
Okay.
Great for
a half.
regular season.
Good for him?
Bingo. Good for him. ... Buyer beware.
Ooh, a buyer beware. Then with a buyer beware.
Good for Josh Giddey. Good for him. He went on a tear post All-Star break. 7 triple-doubles on the year. Anytime he had a triple-double, the Giddy committee loved to tell me to suck it. Good for y'all. Good for him. He gonna get paid.
He gonna get
good
paid.
for him.
Ching ching.
Way to go get that paper, boo-boo. If this is the real Josh Giddey, the one that we saw for a month and a half while the Bulls were bum slaying, great. I still have doubts that it is. I still have doubts that, as Go was saying earlier, he could be a 62% true shooting percentage player who's going to start flirting with being a 40% three-point shooter. I still have doubts that he can be a pull-up off the dribble three-point threat.
Okay.
And the defense is what the defense is.
Yeah.
So good for him for making his case at his exit interview. That last third of the season, that's the real me. Please hand me a giant check. Thank you. Good for him. And good for all of the believers who think that is a piece the Bulls should continue to build around because he's going to lead them to the promised land. All I'm saying, how far will it get you? He went out and that contract year, boy.
It's a contract.
Boy, did he put some stats up.
He put him up.
Good for him.
Put him up.
I'm glad I'm not the one signing the checks.
Good for him, but
yeah.
But you are glad you are the one who's gonna get to criticize the checks.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
All right, yeah.
This is what I do.
This
Is
is
what we do.
And also shout out Cat Williams as well.
If you ain't got no job, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I really don't. All right. And so our overall grades were, I think, kinder than maybe some people thought our grades would be. Look at
I think
that.
that's fair.
Yeah, 2 B's and a B plus.
That's fair.
That's
I think
fair.
that's fair. Yeah.
And again, I think I've usually, when we do these grades, been going based on my expectations. And I think compared to my expectations, Giddy was above average this season.
Agreed.
And above average, I was like, that's a B. That's not a B plus. It's not a B minus.
Yeah.
It's a B.
It's a B.
This season, his collective body of work was a B. Most of my lingering fears and doubts and anxiety and dread as a Bulls fan is, can he replicate that over multiple seasons?
That's going to do it for everybody watching on Fast right here. If you want to follow along with more of our awesome stuff, check out the website, ALLCHGO.com. Go. B plus.
B plus, yeah, maybe a little bit even generous. But yeah, I mean, he played exceptionally well in the second half of the year. Like I part of me feels like I don't know what to do with that. Part of me feels like, yeah, obviously I know what to do with that, you know? So
okay.
I couldn't go I couldn't go much higher. But yeah, I mean, you cannot take away the production. I just have questions still. And I think that's really what it all comes down to. But he had a great second half. Like, he hit the half-court game winner. It was a lot of fun watching him play. He was really energizing for, I think, the whole team. Was a great leader in the locker room. I think really took to the role that he was in during the second half of the year. But, like, again, I said this when we were doing the Prove It segments before the season. I know he's going to put up big numbers. I know he's going to be able to put up stats regardless. But, like, I just want to know if it leads to winning. And he did that in the second half. But I feel like I still need more of a sample to really understand what all that means, even though I have my, like, you know, bias about it.
Reservations.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. And it's fair to have those reservations about Josh Giddey, especially somebody who you see do it how he's been doing it his entire career, you know, with OKC, which is what Matt would talk about all the time. Like, no, we have the body of work. I saw his body of work. I don't expect it to be anything else other than that, maybe a little bit higher. But that's why it was so like, oh, snap, it did like that in that month of March. But not factoring in the fact that it's a contract there, you're doing yourself a disservice. You have to factor those things in when guys are playing above their skis. I said it twice. But, yeah, man, like, I hope this is not just a one-off for him. I hope that this means that Josh Giddey is going to be that guy going forward. What we're seeing in the second half is the guy that we like. Like Will Perdue called him, we think he's a basketball savant. He definitely got a little stank on him. I mean, the man hit the half-court shot, like probably the greatest regular season shot in Bulls history, you can argue, to win a basketball game. You can argue it because I've never seen anything like that, man. So, yeah, he has that under his belt. So I'm just curious about what it looks like for a full season when teams are truly planning for you. Can he continue to put up those kind of numbers?
And even more than that, like, in the postseason, because, like, we've seen teams coast through the regular season. All the teams that are going to make the playoffs are going to make the playoffs. Yeah. They know that. They're getting Kawhi ready for a playoff run. And then you have the teams that are tanking, and it's, like, easy to take advantage of those. And it's easy to catch teams by surprise and out-physical them and out-effort them during the regular season when that's not the end goal for everybody else, the way it is for the Bulls. That's problematic, and it helps inform what he's doing. So, again, I cannot take anything away from him. Like, he really impressed me a lot this year, but I still have a lot of questions.
Shaq.
Yeah.
Diesel.
And, you know, Bulls fans, I think a lot of them who want to be believing in Giddy and think that he could be that piece, some of them are saying, well, pump the brakes. We're not saying that Giddy is going to be like the central piece of a championship caliber team, but he's good and he can be a piece.
Yes.
And that, like,
without a doubt,
fair. What I have always worried about when it comes to that argument is when we watched that happen in OKC, when a bigger, better star rose to, this is my team, SGA. When Giddy's not the one running things, look what happened to Giddy and his usefulness on an NBA court.
It's true. Couldn't play.
So if you're saying Giddy, he's a great piece, you know, we're not going to pay him the max, pay him a bunch, but he could be your second guy. Can he?
Can he?
Can what he does well on NBA court still work and still thrive if not everything is going through him? That's the question.
We're going to find out.
But so there are our grades for Josh Giddey. Pleasantly surprised. And we'll see where we go from here. Well, where we go from here is offseason contract negotiations. Bulls got some leverage. Just a matter of whether or not they will use it. Katie, did we get enough likes for a tank spin? Katie says yes.
Katie says tank
Let's
spin.
go.
She did it for GOAT.
Hit the like.
She did it for GOAT.
Goat's jonesing, y'all. Nora jonesing.
Hey, he just found out what she was.
Hey.
All right. Let me just move a couple things.
You know, she's
here.
a resetter.
Like the reset.
Yeah, she likes the reset.
Let's move that.
She does like the reset.
A tankathon purist, if you will.
Sim.
Here we go, baby. Oh.
12.
The Bulls stay at 12, which is, what is the likelihood of that? 85% and change,
Pretty
I
fair.
believe.
Something like
The
that.
Bulls staying at 12.
Look at Utah, Washington, New Orleans, and Charlotte. And hello, Philly.
Dude, Utah, congratulations. You got another tall white boy to pair with your tall white boys.
Oh, yes. Oh, I see the vision, man.
I mean, it's there.
I see the vision.
It would be right in line with the Big Dave Utah Jazz philosophy.
I see the, oh, my God. I see the vision.
Louder Marketing, first-time All-Star? Oh, yeah, you just had to go to Utah.
Yep, that's it. That's all you needed. You
Walker
know,
Kessler, Texas Ranger?
not just an awesome hat rack. Got some stuff up there in the noggin.
That's going to do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with another fresh episode for y'all. 4 p.m. Central Time. Start time. Enjoy the playoff action. The first game kicked off moments ago, or right about now, 5 p.m. Central. 4 games on the slate tonight. Get your bets in, Bet365. Enjoy it. Good luck. And we'll be here tomorrow to break down the playoff action and continue our Bulls player evaluations for the 24-25 season. In the meantime, read good stuff, allchgo.com. Become a diehard so you can read all of it and the very best of it. Follow him, Will_Gottlieb. Big Dave is a bow, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO Bulls. Shout out to the one and only queen of the controls, KW. Much love, Bulls Nation. Hit the like on your way out. See you right, be good.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.